Hello, Facebook and Instagram. How we doing tonight? Today is Thursday, March the 4th, 2021. Coming to you live for our Real Estate Talk Evening Edition. We're focusing on Thursday evenings at this time on IRAs. I don't know if a lot of people know all the things that can be done with their IRA. If you've been working at a company for a couple of years or 20 years, there's certain things that you can do with your IRA um, to diversify the IRA, to get it involved in more investments and more investing opportunities that you have more control over. And I don't know if a lot of people know about this, so I'm just going to try and start a series and talk about it. And hopefully, people want to, take this information, look into it, maybe have some more conversations in regards to it, and use their IRA, the money in their IRA to invest in some other things, like real estate. You might want to do cryptocurrency. Uh, you may want to just do something that you know a little bit more about. But, the stock market is what it is. Usually, where you invest through your employer is usually in the stock market, and those are limited to only investments in the stock market. But there is things that you can do to diversify yourself and to look at other opportunities that are out there. I'm going to talk about that. Again, we won't be here that long, probably 20 to 30 minutes. If anyone has any questions, you can jump on and ask. If it's something outside of the IRA, that's fine. You can ask any type of real estate or real estate investing question you like, and I'll do my best to answer it. And if I can't answer it, I will find the answer and get back to you. But I think it's important that people realize some of the tools and things that they have at their disposal to get involved in investing in more diverse investing. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the stock market. I know that it's made some tremendous gains over the last year, 2 years. If you look at it over a 20, 30-year period, obviously there are big time downturns, and then there's big time upside to the market, similar to real estate, but you just have more control, I feel, with real estate investing and investing in real estate than you do in things that you really don't know about, in stocks, bonds, and things that are like. You may not even know how all that stuff works, but yeah, your money is being invested in it. But now, you have a chance here to take more control, um, and do the things that you would want to do and see some of the effects of the investing that you would like to do. So we're going to talk about that each Thursday night, 8 p.m. I'm going to take a different part of IRA and talk about what you can do with an IRA. This is going to be mainly focused on taking a current IRA and putting it into a self-directed IRA. I don't know if people know about that. I've heard of that term. There is a opportunity to transfer your funds from a company account or an outside account that you do have with Charles Schwab and companies of the like, and transfer it into a self-directed IRA and have more control. So, for this first time that we're talking, I'm just going to talk about what is a self-directed IRA, some of the benefits of a self-directed IRA, and some of the accounts that can be self-directed. There are about 7 different types of accounts out there that you can actually have them transferred into a self-directed IRA. Okay, so if you have any one of these seven, and you would like to maybe see it grow a little bit faster, more securely, we can talk about how we can do that through real estate investing, and show you some opportunities that may be out there, and get these accounts working harder and better for you. So what is a self-directed IRA? A self-directed IRA is pretty much, it's the same thing as a regular standard IRA that you have with your company. There's no major difference. The biggest thing with the self-directed IRA is that you have more control over a self-directed IRA. Like I mentioned earlier, when you have a IRA that is with a company, or Charles Schwab or companies like that, they only invest in publicly traded assets, hence the stock market. Anything outside of that is not something that they have the ability, when you have a company-sponsored IRA, to invest in anything outside of that. So all of the investing is done through the stock market, and trying to pick out the stocks and different things like that are going to do well. And then obviously at the end of the year, you look at your statement and you see how it's grown. Obviously, if you've had it for a number of years, you've probably seen some good years, and then you've seen other years where it has gone down, or not grown as much. But a self-directed IRA, the difference is that you can invest in things outside of just the stock market. And we'll get into some of the things that you can invest in during this first time talking about this subject. But I don't want people to think like there's a tremendous difference between the two. They pretty much operate the same way. It's just that a company-sponsored IRA or something similar to that is only invest in publicly traded assets. The self-directed IRA can invest in things outside of publicly traded assets, and you have more control. You just make a phone call, and as long as it's not a prohibited transaction or something that is not allowed in terms of an investment that's not allowed, there are some limits, but you have more choices. Once you tell them that you want to invest in something, they just send the money where you want it to be sent, and that's it. So I really think that this is important. I think that a lot of times people don't think that they have money, they have enough money to possibly invest in things that they would want to invest in, or real estate. Obviously people who follow me know that that I am in real estate, and you have a chance to kind of get in the game, so to speak, and you think that you can't, but you can, especially if you and maybe you have a couple of co-workers. You can get together with your IRAs and invest together, and everybody gets a certain percentage of whatever the investment is. And again, these are things outside of publicly traded assets. So some of the benefits, the first one is diversification. Like I said, you're not just stuck to publicly traded assets. You can invest in real estate, cryptocurrency, promissory notes, that's considered real estate, single families, multifamilies, options. When it comes to real estate, you can invest in in an option type of deal, a fix and flip. You can lend money. Maybe you know someone that's working on a business venture and needs some money, some capital to start up that business venture, and you like what it is that they're getting into, or you've looked at it and it looks good to you. You can use your money to do those things, to invest in those things. And even if you want to keep your account with a Charles Schwab or with your company, that's fine, because it may be doing well. It may have a significant amount of money in it, and you feel comfortable with that. And that's fine. You don't have to take all of the money out. Maybe you take a portion and just roll it over and diversify yourself. The more things that you're invested in, the better you are protected against risk a lot of times. So that is the one key thing that you would want to consider, is the diversification aspect of putting your money into a self-directed IRA and being able to invest in things outside of publicly traded assets. The tax savings, obviously, just like with your company, you do get the tax savings. Either you get deferred taxes on the account, or you are able to get the money tax-free upon distributions when it's that time. So the tax savings is also a benefit that you want to take advantage of, and you can invest in things where it grows tax-free. So if you didn't have that money in one of these accounts and was investing in a business or in a piece of real estate or something like that, and you made some money, obviously it would get taxed once you made those gains. But if you do it through the self-directed IRA, you save a whole lot of taxes, from being taxed on any of the gains that you make, as long, when it's inside of the IRA. So that's another benefit. Social investing. Again, you can invest in that local business. Right now, obviously, a lot of businesses, especially minority businesses, are shutting down. And who's to say that we couldn't come together with our IRAs and get that restaurant that was in our neighborhood back up and running, get a education center that may be going away now because they're not getting certain funds to keep the program running. You can invest in a local, something that will help the community, something that's there that could help children, something that could help older people. There are different businesses and opportunities in your local area, whether it be your city, your town, or your county, that you may see as an opportunity to invest in. I do know someone, they have a restaurant, and they were going from one location to another location. And maybe if people saw this restaurant, like this restaurant, knew he's moving to another location, could put our money together, loan it to this particular person, and as that business makes profit, he could obviously pay you a return, and then all of that money kind of goes back into your IRA. And these are some of the things that we can do collectively to help, where we live, the areas that we live, and help them improve. You have the ability to do that in a self-directed IRA account. So, social investing is something that we really, need to focus on and try to do more of, especially a lot of us who come from, maybe an urban or more urban area. I'm not from I'm not from an area that I would consider to be a ghetto or anything like that, but there are people that do come from less areas that could go back there and help businesses and help the community by bringing their dollars back, putting them into certain programs and businesses there, and helping them grow. So we have to really look into some of those opportunities, and not just to say if you lived in a real urban area, you could live in a middle class area or upper class area, but there still may be some opportunities with businesses and different things like that you could invest your dollars in. And if we came together with multiple people who've been working somewhere and have money in the IRA and put it into a self-directed IRA, we may be able to take advantage of improving that barbershop in our area, bringing again a certain restaurant or a certain grocery store, things like that. You could do that in your local area to improve your area. So I think that that's a great benefit as well. And then Lastly, you get to invest in what you know. Not everybody knows real estate. Maybe there's something else that you know. Maybe there's a different business or other type of venture that you have taken an interest in. You work in that field. You have the opportunity to put your dollars into things that you know and invest because you know those things. Right now, a lot of us give our money to big corporations and we don't know what it is that they're investing in. Your money right now could be investing in alcohol. Maybe you are someone who doesn't drink and doesn't want to support alcohol. Maybe it's going into a lot of the cannabis companies now. Maybe you're somebody that's against that. A lot of times people aren't really aware of what exactly their money is being invested in, what type of companies. I don't know anyone that looks at their statement and says, oh, I've researched this company and this is what they do and know about, everything that company does, their practices, their culture and stuff like that. You normally just look at the statement and see that you did make a 3, 4, 5% gain this year, or maybe higher in some of the better years. Investing in what you know will give you, a better sense of security. It should, because you understand this field, when to get in and when to get out, so to speak, because you have a little bit of knowledge about it. So, those are all benefits of taking the money that you have in some of your accounts and putting it in a self-directed IRA. So we're going to talk about the types of self-directed IRA. So you have personal plans, employer plans, and then you have specialty plans. So we kind of break them down into those 3 categories. And they're like 7 different accounts that you have. So if you have any one of these, you're able to take what you currently have and transfer funds into a self-directed IRA. And most of the times that'll be tax-free. Sometimes you will, if you do transfer money into a certain account, the IRS looks at that as a gain, a personal gain of income. So let's just say you're taking $10,000 from one account going into the other. You may have to pay taxes on that once you do the transfer, but now that the money is in this IRA, it won't be taxed anymore. And we won't get into that particular, what account that is and how that works today. We'll kind of go over that at another time. But most of the times, if you're going from one account, from a company-sponsored account or something that you have personally into a self-directed IRA, you usually can do that tax-free. The personal plans are the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. The traditional IRA is tax deferred. It's a tax deferred account, and when money is distributed, when you have distributions, taxes will apply at age 59 and a half. And then when the Roth IRA, that's a tax-free growth, no taxes on distributions. So you basically pay the taxes. You put that with money that is taxed before it goes in. So now when you start taking out the distributions, they're not taxing it. So those are 2 of the personal plans. So if you have a Roth IRA or if you have a traditional IRA, you can transfer these over and make them still self-directed. Again, they're still IRA accounts, just one, you have more control over what you can invest in, the types of investments. So the employer plans, these are kind of like the self-employed, or if you have a side business or side job or something like that, these plans are kind of tailored for that. Now I'm not going to get into the specifics of each plan. Again, we could do that probably the next time that I have this. You can kind of go over each and tell you pros and cons of each and everything like that. But if you have a SEP IRA, a simple IRA, or a solo 401k, if you have any types, if you have these types of accounts or know someone that has these types of accounts, again, this money can be used in a self-directed IRA for alternative investments, things outside of the publicly traded assets. And then the specialty plans are the HSA, that's the Health Savings Account, and the Coverdell Education Savings. How many people have that for their children, either through their work or, again, outside of their work? But is it really growing at a pace that when your child is 18 or whenever it is that they decide to go to college, that it's going to be enough for them to afford college or afford the college that they want to go to? You can use your Coverdell account, self-directed Coverdell account, to see it growing faster, more securely. There's things that you can do to see it growing better, taking more control over it. And a lot of people, don't necessarily know that. And your health savings account, I mean, personally, I was surprised when I found out about this, is that the health savings account, you can take, that's primarily for medical expenses, but you could take that money that you don't use towards medical expenses, have it in a self-directed IRA, and use it to invest. We definitely need to take advantage of some of these strategies. And then if you don't have these accounts, you can take a certain amount of money. Maybe you have one of the account. Maybe you could take some money out of it and put it into these other accounts, and then allow them to grow faster and more securely through some other types of investments. And again, I like to talk about real estate and some of the opportunities that are out there that people don't know about. So that's that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Just kind of give a brief introduction into why, what a self-directed IRA is, and some of the benefits and the types of accounts. Next time we'll talk about a little bit more about the accounts individually, and what you can do with them and how they work, so to speak. So we'll do that on the next Thursday, 8 p.m. If you watch this on a replay or anything like that, and you want to reach out to me, you can call or text me at 973-475-8488. You can email me at acg@abundantcapitalgroup.com. And then you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube at Abundant Capital Group. Reach out to me. I'd appreciate it if you give me some feedback on this. If you watch the replay, let me know, what questions that you may have, what you may want me to cover. And so, please share this. Tell me what you think about it. That's greatly appreciated. And be back next week, next Thursday, 8 p.m. And we will continue this series on self-directed IRAs and the different things that you can do with them. Until then, everybody stay safe, keep wearing your mask, and if you are getting the vaccine, just be careful out there, and I wish everybody the best. Peace.